Yeah, exciting to be in Austin hosting a regional. A lot of respect for the other three teams. They've earned it as well as we. Proud of our team. You know, you're not just given a regional host. You have to earn that. I think our guys did a great job down the stretch to put ourselves in this position. So proud of them and looking forward to the competition.
All right, guys. So who your starting pitcher and why?
Pete Hansen, he's our Friday night starter. We're facing a very good lineup. A very good opposing starting pitcher in Paul Skeens. This is a team that's familiar with the dish. So there's no doubt we're going Pete versus Skeens in this one.
Was it a tough decision?
No, it was a definite Pete Hansen.
They're not exactly an intimidated team, are they?
No, I mean, first I think they're very familiar with the dish. They had some success here. You know, and these are a bunch of young men that build for adversity and build for combat, so they will not be intimidated. We're going to have to go out and play a great game, and I think that our team is well prepared to do that. I like our fight and our mentality against anybody in the country. So very comfortable. I think it's going to be an exciting day tomorrow with those two games.
Coach Pierce, Ivan Melendez, Collegiate Baseball Player of the Year. What's it been like for you to watch Melendez have the year he's been having so far?
It's just been so consistent and a joy for us to just watch him go out and be successful. You know, you talk about guys that earned it and deserve it. A lot of guys on our team work really, really hard, and he's one of them. He's really learned a lot more about himself and what he's capable of, and he's prepared. His routines have been set the right way for him, and I don't think he really wavers from that. Day in, day out, if he has a big day or not, he's very humble and very respectful to the game, and he's just fun to watch, and you pull for guys like that.
Dave, with a guy like Austin Todd, with how his season's ended the last couple of years, how happy are you for him to have this moment to get to this point healthy and then also be at home here in Austin?
Yeah, you go back to the injuries even after his freshman year, but this year was a real blow to him when he couldn't play defense, and he came in my office right away and said, "Coach, I'll be back." And he's put the work in through rehab and found a good spot in our lineup to be productive. And so he has a lot of confidence, and just really a cool way for Austin to finish his career at Texas, being in a regional at home and being in the middle of our lineup and being a big piece versus being injured cheering guys on. So happy for him.
Is this kind of the best you've seen him swing?
Yeah, I think Tulo and Phillip did a great job with him because Austin's always had real good eye-hand coordination and has good feel for his hands, but his timing at times was inconsistent. And I think by spreading him out, keeping his head behind the ball, he's not trying to generate power. He's trying to be on time, and being on time, his power comes out. And I think that's what we've noticed with him more than anything.
I'm sure you guys didn't have a lot of wiggle room near the end of the season trying to get this regional at home. Coming down the stretch and winning all those games to make this possible. How battle tested does that make you feel as a team?
Yeah, I think, we're very battle tested. I think, even before that, all the traveling we did earlier in the year and, early in March and stuff like that, I think that's, all prepared us for this moment. Obviously had ups and downs. I think that's, as a team has made us better and, definitely, been in tough situations. I think that's going to really help us, later down the stretch and in regionals and, sub-regionals, Omaha, all that kind of stuff. So I think we're, as prepared as anybody and as prepared as, as we've ever been.
Silas, what's the scouting report of Paul Skeens?
We know he's going to come out here and compete. He's a great arm, has a lot of wins. We know he's a power right-hander, but we're not too worried about him. We're going to stick with our approach. We have a good lineup and great defense, and Pete's going to go out there and give us a chance to win. So all we got to do is go out there and compete and give good at-bats, and hopefully things will fall our way.
So have you faced a 100-mile-an-hour pitcher before?
Not quite sure if he throws 100, but
Where'd you come up with that one?
He didn't the game in Air Force, I think last year when he was relieved.
yeah, well, I wouldn't say that I faced 100, but we faced a lot of strong arms this year, and I think we're prepared.
I know the Bears threw 98 in Arlington.
Yep. Saunders, I wanted to ask you about the pitching staff. Obviously, you've been behind the plate majority of the games this year, if not all of them. But everybody brings a little bit different, but you are the one constant behind the plate. How do you approach each pitcher and trying to make sure that they're doing things the right way?
Yeah, every pitcher's different. You have to get to know them on a personal level first before you approach them. But each and every one of them, you have to approach them differently, whether it's I have to be hard on them or I have to have their back and pat them on the back whenever they're doing good or that kind of thing. So just knowing our pitchers is important, and those guys have been through a lot this season. There's a lot of slander on them, but they get better each and every time they take the mound for us, and that's all we can ask of them. And I know that they're ready to compete this weekend.
And was there ever a moment that Coach Pierce came out to the mound and wanted to take somebody out and you said, no, Coach, leave him in, he's got it?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say that there's more times that the pitchers talk him into staying on the mound. He comes out there ready to pull him, and they're like, no, I want this guy. And Coach Pierce likes that kind of thing, the confidence. And obviously every pitcher wants whoever is up, but I think he has a good feel for if they need to come out or if they need to stay in and get that hitter. We have a lot of guys that just want to compete, that they have a strong mindset, and Coach Pierce has a good feel for that.
There's a great event over at Matt's Ranch Show the other night. Occupy Left Field folks are trying to take care of you guys. Big buzz in that place because they're excited about this weekend. How gratifying is it to you guys that you have a fan base that's willing to go to bat for you? Literally 11.7 scholarships is not enough, but these people want to make sure that your college experience is even better than it has been.
Yeah, I think it definitely feels good, when you have your a group or obviously fans that have your back and support you off the field too, and are always having someone that's there for you, whether it be family or even the fans at times can be there for you to support, and just know that you have someone with you through ups and the downs. I think that's really important, and I think also helps recruiting purposes, knowing that you're going to have a good fan base and support from not just your coaches but from fans as well, and be encouraging and have great events like that. So I think it's a really awesome thing. We obviously appreciate the time they take to organize that and have that stuff for us. So I think it's really cool for them.
Who's the first to get a Lamborghini? I need to ask.
I don't think any of us are that cool enough to have a Lamborghini yet. Nah, not yet.
Is Coach Pierce?
Oh no, I don't think so.
I'm not that cool either.
So Trey, would you rather face a really hard thrower or a finesse guy that is all over the place?
I don't think there's different times, different pitchers obviously, but I don't think there's one guy I'd rather face. I think you just go out there and like someone that's going to compete and give it their best. Obviously, as competitors and baseball players, we all like someone that goes out there and just gives it their all. So anybody that does that, you respect them for that, and that's all you can ask from opposing teams. So I wouldn't really say there's anyone I like to face in particular.
Who was the toughest pitcher you faced this year?
The toughest pitcher? I don't know. There's been a lot. I think there's good competition all around the Big 12, and played SEC teams. So can't say there's one pitcher that really stood out. Obviously we've had a lot of good games, stuff like that. But there's we face a lot of good arms. So I wouldn't say there's one that stands out more than the other.
Do you have one Silas in mind?
No, kind of like Trey said. We faced a ton of good arms throughout the year. Big 12, SEC teams. Just a couple of names that stand out are, like Trey said, the greatest competitors, and Justin Campbell was one of those. Chase Burns. Those are all great arms, but we faced plenty of guys that throw hard and have great stuff like them, but didn't compete, and we got the best of those guys. And we have a lot of respect for those guys because they step on the mound and they come right at us with their best stuff. So.
Does Pete Hansen kind of have the perfect mindset for a pitcher?
Yeah, I think he understands that he doesn't have overpowering stuff, and He's more of a command guy, and when he steps on the mound, though, he believes that he's going to overpower every guy that steps in the box, and he's going to compete. And every time he steps on the mound, he has a winning mindset, and that gives our defense and our offense also some encouragement to play behind him because we know what we're going to get out of him every time he steps on the mound.
Have you ever seen him rattled at all?
There's
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He's not perfect, He's human, He goes through little stretches in the season. There was probably one or two games that you could tell he's thinking a little too much, but for the most part, he does a great job of keeping his composure.
Does he ever get so jacked up with adrenaline like for a regional where he overthrows? I guess a lot of pitchers overthrow when they get too jacked up, I guess, right?
I wouldn't say so. He's pitching the biggest of games. He's pitching regionals, super regionals, Omaha, and competing every single one of those. And he knows who he is as a pitcher, and he's not going to do anything more.
Got time for a couple more.
Could you just kind of describe the other two teams? What do you think their strengths are?
Outside of Air Force,
Yes.
La Tech came off of winning the USA tournament. They're coming in hot. I think they're a very confident, kind of a tough-minded team. I haven't really looked at their numbers, but I know Mitch Gaspard really well. I know Lane Barrows really well. I know what they're about. So I know they'll compete. But Dallas Baptist, I think, is interesting because they played a really tough schedule as well. And you look at strength of schedule, you look at intent to schedule, and they swept Southern Miss early in the year. They took 2 out of 3 from Maryland. And those two teams, those 5 out of 6 wins have really helped them in the RPI. So they played well early. They played well in midweek games versus some very good Big 12 type programs, TCU, Oklahoma State. I think they split with them. But when I look at that, I think of talent. They have the ability to beat the best teams in the country, so they're talented. It's very interesting looking at them in their league play that they kind of dropped a little bit and then are kind of limping in to this tournament. 4, 5, and 1 in their last 10, but that could work in their favor, to be honest with you, because we know they're talented, and you have a lull, they could come out of that. You never know. But Dan has done such a consistent job with their offense, and they usually always have power arms. So they'll be good. Yeah, I think it's a real balanced regional.
So, question for Silas and Trey. So, we've kind of talked about Ivan and his individual accomplishment. Could you just take a moment to describe him as a teammate?
Yeah, I'll start, I guess. Ivan is one of the most humble people that is on our team. Each and every day we know we're going to get. He's very encouraging as a teammate. Even when we're feeling bad, he's there to pick us up. Just very level-headed, Despite all of his accomplishments, he never gets too high, never talks about himself, never talks about his success, always talking about our success. And, whenever he doesn't get it done, he feels like he lets the team down. And that's a strength of his, He plays to win. He plays for the team and not for individual accomplishments.
Yeah, I agree with Silas. Obviously he plays for the race, so I'm with him in the NFL all the time. But he's one of the most hardworking dudes. He's never you can see him walking down the street and never know he's Ivan Melendez. And I think that's the best thing about him. He's just so even keel and humble, and he's not bragging about everything. He's always trying to make his teammates better. We were just in the cage right now and we're talking about swings, and he's just trying to make everybody around him better. So I think that's the best thing about him. He could act like he knows it all and stuff like that, and he's the best. But obviously he is the best. But he doesn't act like that. So that's the best thing about it. He's been a great teammate. I've been here 2 years, so to have him around, obviously having our team has been special to watch, and he's basically I personally think he's the greatest player in ever play college baseball, in my opinion. So to have him on our team and just be able to be around that every day is special.
He should be driving on Lamborghini, shouldn't he?
Oh, he for sure.
If anybody should, it should be Ivan.
He's cool enough to drive one.
You'll be driving one.
Yeah, exactly.
He's cool because he's not trying to be cool.